everybody, and welcome back to Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might. Thank you for tuning in for episode 3. My name is Bradley, and I'll be the DM for today. And why don't we just go around one more time here and just introduce ourselves and who we'll be playing, starting over on this side.
I'm Zach.
And who will be playing?
Oh my god. I'll be playing...
Dirk.
I definitely know my character. I've only been playing it twice before.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I'm Victor, and I'll be playing Lior.
Everyone's looking at their character sheets. I'm so nervous.
I am Michelle, and I will be playing Tal/Tala, the monk.
I'm Marty, and I'm going to be playing Paige Bundelberg.
And as I said, I'm Bradley, and I'm going to be playing the role of penitent person who also doesn't know what jicama looks like. My bad. Way too confident about that. So, just a little quick recap of what we're about. This is a anthology actual play D&D show where we all take our favorite worlds of fiction and imagine what would happen if we threw a little 5e Dungeons & Dragons character in there. So today we're continuing our game, The Dragon's Might, set in the world of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. Once again, this is a non-canonical little foray into the Randlands, which I'm very excited to take. There will be no spoilers past the first book or first season, but maybe a couple little things of interest for those of you who have read ahead. You can catch... This is the end of, I think, the first batch of episodes that's going to be released. So if you want to continue watching this show, you can catch us next week at 7 p.m. right here on this page. On Tuesday, right? Next week. Every day next week. Next Tuesday at 7 p.m. on this page with a podcast format closely following that. And I think we'll be good to go from there. So without any further ado, let's join this band of strange adventurers and strange companions as they head on the road north in Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might. Wow. So, last time that we met up, this strange group of companions had just left the town of Samara on the pursuit of some brigands, some people who had declared for Logain Ablar, the false dragon to the north, who had stolen a local vendor's most valuable product, persimmons. You chase them and track them down to a bluff where some of you, Lior prime among them, suggested diplomacy. And Tal suggested a quarterstaff to the face. A fight broke out in which blows were being matched and met until one of their number, a cackling person with wild hair and wild eyes, seemed to shoot a beam of snow up at Lior, as it was revealed that this person among their number could channel. This seemed to split the ranks as companions deserted, and this one individual wildly acted in a dangerous manner until Tal threw a dart and put them down. Trying to figure out what to do, you realized that since you had just executed justice by yourselves, you might have some questions to answer in town and needed to get out quickly, but first certainly had to return these persimmons. On the way back, the one who had been knocked unconscious and remained where you were awoke when they told you that the one who had been channeling was their cousin, and they were desperately trying to get them north to see if there is anything that Logain Ablar could do to help them manage the situation they were in. Unfortunately, not able to make it. You guys very generously gave them rations. For a person who had shot arrows at you, very generous move of giving them rations and a little bit of coin and sending them off to head back to wherever they came from. You ran back into Samara and quickly were told that it was a good time for you to leave, as the two children of the light that had been in earlier asking questions and seemingly taking an interest in you, Paige, were on their way back as part of a group led by a Lord Captain Canveli. You guys quickly made your goodbyes, leaving the Dancing Goose, where Paige and Lior, you had stayed for some time, and where the two of you had not even spent a night yet, and headed north out into the snow, where deep in the night, you, Dirk, were able to see far, far, far off into the distance, into the dark, a camp set up on the other side of the River Eldar, with white tents emblazoned with the blazing sun of the Children of the Light. As you all went down for an uneasy night of sleep, that's where we pick up. As in the morning, who do you think amongst you was taking last watch? I know, Dirk, you were up first.
I probably would have woken Tal up, not trusting the others all that much yet. We kept the same routine we've been usually doing.
And so as morning is starting to break, you're noticing that it is it's cold. It remains cold and uncomfortable outside. It's been an early winter, but you're noticing that this morning feels damp, more so than it is like an icy chill. And you notice that you could still see your breath and everything, but this is a much milder morning than you've been used to. And the skies look clear. The day is bright. You look out off far away and can see just maybe the inklings of a cluster of buildings that might be Samara. And you can sense that the night has fully passed and the sun has risen as your companions sleep around you.
Across the river is the troop of white cloaks.
Roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
Nine.
You can't quite see that.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't necessarily see that right now.
Okay.
You can the distance that you're at, you can kind of make out there's the town of Samara, the building standing out.
Okay. Perfect. So in that case, Tal is probably you know when you have those like those mummy sleeping bags?
Yep.
And you like stand up in them and you like hop around to get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like it looks like I stayed in my bedroll with it wrapped around my head. And I've like hopped over to a rock and I'm like sitting on the rock but still fully in my bedroll.
Still cocooned. Yeah.
Just looking around. Feel like that's the wrong vibe.
They have goblins.
Dirk comes out of his sleeping bag singing.
Dirk has a beautiful, somewhat reedy voice. Oh man. That's wonderful. Okay, well,
I always
sometimes
like how surprised you look every time there's like.
well, because
vocal
here's the thing.
additions.
I think that first of all, shout out to Syrinscape. What a great service. But a lot of these playlists, when I listen to them at home to see what they sound like, they don't have singing, and then we get here and there's like children chanting. So it feels like more of a me problem. So yes, you decked out like you've just come back from a visit to Mountain Equipment Co-op. Are sitting on
Accurate.
this rock as I think the people around you are starting to wake up.
I'm just quietly, still taking in the surroundings. Did we light a fire?
I think you guys did. Yeah, I think you guys lit a small fire.
Sitting close enough to the fire that I should be a little concerned that my bedroll's going to catch.
I believe Dirk put it out.
Yeah, I put it out when I saw the white cloaks.
Oh yes, yes.
So in that case, I would have my bedroll on with my cloak fastened over it.
Okay.
Just layering.
Sure.
Hal does not like to be cold.
Absolutely. And you guys all start to sort of wake up.
Tal, go get.
Nope.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're still here.
Where would I go?
Sorry.
Would anyone like some morning tea? I think it's a bit nippy. I think it would be warming our marrow would be the best way to start the day.
Got any of that hot chocolate?
Unfortunately not. I left it all with Dal. That would have been lovely.
Rough.
We have some passion flower tea if you wish. I'm going to make a pot for myself.
I think a little bit of warmth will be good. Start us off on the right foot.
I have this persimmon.
That is good for breakfast, perhaps. I can cut it up and we can share it. Yes.
What would you eat that on or with?
Yes.
Probably a fork.
Like with?
I've honestly never seen one of these in my life, so I
I
have
thought
no
you
idea.
would
It's crazy that you threw it to page 2 since they're so huge.
Yeah, sorry.
Your hands.
Yeah.
They're getting bigger every session.
It started like this.
It's watermelon-sized persimmon. It's incredible. Feed an army. Paige has no idea what to do. She'll probably take out like a kitchen knife and slice it in half and check if there's seeds in the middle of this flesh. Is it juicy?
Yeah, like some soft seeds, like not like hard apple-looking seeds. It looks like the center almost gets like more like pulpy,
Like a pumpkin kind of.
Yeah, pumpkin adjacent. Seeds. I would say closer like maybe like cucumber style seed. Like not quite that level.
All right. The best way to eat this is in quarters. So here's yours. Here is yours, Lior. And here you are, Tal. And go ahead. And Paige is not going to eat hers. She's going to put it on the side and start preparing the tea, looking at the others to see if anyone else knows what they're doing.
Would I know how to eat persimmon?
It's not hard, guys.
What is this, Bradley?
It's not a coconut. It's
It is so tiny. My giant hands.
I'm eating my quarter of a persimmon the same way that one would eat a cantaloupe.
You can have.
Yeah, that's actually a very good strategy.
Generous.
You've done well.
Is it poisoned?
No.
Tal, make a constitution.
Knew it!
It is rotten.
Yeah, it's good.
Sneaky.
It's nice sweet fruit. Very. It's a little dried up, as they all did look withered. It's out of season, but it's a nice tangy bit of sweetness that you don't get to have too much on the road.
Are you gonna eat yours?
I gave mine to.
It
Makes sense.
would not make much of a difference if you're enjoying them, please.
I was just gonna make sure that he was gonna eat it, because normally he doesn't, because he thinks things are poisoned.
That must make a very difficult diet.
We usually catch the squirrels.
Speaking of,
Yes.
should we go?
Let's go.
What?
Are you making tea?
Paige is brewing the tea. She's
We'll
probably
be back.
pouring it out. All right. For long or...
Oh, 30 minutes.
An hour? Yeah.
Okay. I find it probably best to get on the road as soon as we can. But do what you need to do. Not a problem.
We'll go find squirrels.
Sure. Dirk, make me a nature check.
Oh, here we
We'll
go.
do a nature check.
I definitely took. Where the
That was-
14
That's crazy.
plus nature 15.
15.
Swear jar.
Ooh, that's going in the charity box, baby.
$1, $2, $1.
Yet to be discussed.
$25.
I think it's a pay what you want, but you will be judged.
But you
I think.
it's an honor system.
Yeah, it's an
but-
honor system. You know, just by where the sun is at in the sky, that this is considerably later than you would usually like to go off for the day.
We slept in, Tal.
That's okay. We'll stop for
We
lunch.
should be moving. Tea?
Sure. I will pass out the mugs
Sure.
and immediately start putting away my bedroll as I hear that this is later than usual. I want to be ready to go as soon as everyone else is ready to go.
I'll just be poring over my map and trying to understand just how far we are from the capital.
Sure. Yeah, make me like what's a cartography check? History, something intelligence based, I would imagine.
I think cartography is like an actual skill.
I do actually have that proficiency.
Cartographer's kit? Yeah. Then roll me something with that.
I don't.
I'm gonna say that's an intelligence thing with proficiency.
Beautiful. Then it's a 15.
A 15. Looking at the distance, you're trying to measure the distance from here to Johanna, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
It's probably about a week's journey. You might have thought yesterday more on the pessimistic side. You know, it's a week, if you're rushing, maybe a week and a half, it was looking a little bit like this could be a mess, but you're starting to see that, like, it is a damp day because it's warmer, and the path is getting a bit clear. It wasn't like a long onset of snow. It was just like the first big snowfall, and it is sort of melted back, and it's still early in the day, so you imagine you might gain some time. So maybe about a week.
I believe we have about a week's worth of journeying together. But if the weather keeps up, we should make good time.
It was warmer this morning. Contextually, of course, but warmer.
Indeed. I mean, the season's been a little bit, how do the youth say it, out of whack. And so, a little bit hard to predict what's coming, but I'm hoping that we can make it to the capital in a week.
Leo, you've learned so well. That was great.
Thank you, Paige.
Perfectly integrated.
I keep notes.
Well done. Speaking of out of whack, I think it's time we leave. I am frigid. I think we should stop moving. Maybe that will warm us up.
You guys need to stop saying out of whack. It's like hearing my grandma say it. It's like you can know the lingo, but you gotta live the lingo, and you're not living the lingo.
What does live the lingo mean?
I don't even know. I think she's trying to be rude. Let's get a move on it.
Whack. Eyes closed.
Sorry, repeat that for me?
Yeah, I just want to be against a tree, eyes closed, just listening, being stoic, and I want to get a sense of those around me. I want to get some sort of divine sense of those around me. If you
Okay.
don't mind.
Okay, sure.
I want to feel. I want to just listen. Feel around me. I want to feel their
Stop
their
feeling.
energies. I want to see. Are they?
I do not
Are
consent to
they?
this.
Do I think they're dark friends? Do I think Lior's a dark friend?
That's a really good question.
Do I get that itchy sensation?
Out of whack.
You know, roll me an insight check with advantage. I'm understanding of what you're doing, but I just...
Oh my goodness. Nat 1 and a 2. So 3.
Solid debut. Debut.
You know, I think you are still a little
Out of
bit
whack.
squirrely. You're a little bit squirrely on Lior, because your inclination is... I fought alongside this person against an actual dark friend yesterday, so
Yeah.
that couldn't be. But then at the same time, how can we be sure that this is really an Ogier? You haven't seen an Ogier before. But then you see Lior reciting poetry from his book that says, "Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court." And you think, I feel like you have to be a little cooler than that.
To be a dark
but
friend.
maybe it's an act.
Maybe
You're still
a genius.
not. You're still not sure on Lior. The
never
others,
know.
the others you're pretty solid on.
Yeah, the others are pretty solid.
Yeah.
on.
but
Mid poem, Lior's like, out of whack.
Okay. Awesome. Then I'm good. Give you a slight eye and just nod. Yes, I was gonna. Yeah.
I'll pretend to know what I'm nodding about. Yes.
And I'll just walk off and I'll just go Tal, and I'll just walk in the direction.
Before he even says my name, I'm already scrambling to get the
Nice.
stuff, and then I'm like following up behind, like. I can't sing that one because of copyrights, but
Yeah. I was gonna finish, but I was like, I don't know if I can go that deep.
It's not the swear jar. It's the other jar.
Yeah.
Copyright.
Yeah, when in doubt, no.
Yeah.
I'm just shooby doing behind him.
Yeah, sure. Singing your hot cocoa song wistfully.
Yes. Would I be able to make sure that there was no coals? If I would like to scatter the coals or put them in a bush,
Sure.
and cover up the encampment as much as possible to make sure that one would not assume that anyone was there.
Great, make a survival check for me.
Sure. Ooh, that's a 14.
That's a 14. You're reasonably certain that you've done a good job covering up the camp. I mean, it helps that the fire was doused a long time ago, not just in the morning. But you're pretty solid, and you think you've done a pretty good job here.
Perfect.
Would the fire have been rebuilt for the tea?
I probably would have, and then,
Fine. Yeah, you still think you did a good job. It doesn't change. The 14's a good roll. You think you did good.
Perfect.
Yeah. Dirk, I'd like you to make a perception check for me. Yeah, don't trust either of those.
Aha. 17.
17. Okay. You as you start heading your way northward, I think you guys like confidently start setting out on a direction, and then Lior very gently course corrects you a little bit,
100%.
looking at his map. But as you sort of like take that look back to steer back the way you came, you remember what you saw last night, and you look down back at the town, and you see again like those really muted, and it's hard to see as much in the daylight. But then you do catch a little bit of movement outside of the town, on that far side of the river. Looks like any sort of structures of encampment that were there are now being put away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait a good 10 minutes
Sure.
of walking after Leor has so rudely corrected me. I knew where I was going. But if you're still in the lead, let's speed it up, big man. You got big legs, we can go a little faster.
Paige, beat it up, big man.
Paige is already huffing like, we'll run, yes.
Well,
Where-
just a fast walk.
We can fast walk. That sounds pleasant.
Here's the
Right.
thing. So
I'm
if you,
warm already. I'm doing pretty well for myself, so we don't need to.
If you crouch down, that makes your legs longer. So when you take steps, they're longer steps.
Who taught you how to walk?
Yeah.
My family.
Okay, I sounds
Watch.
I would listen to her, she's pretty
Crouch
fast.
down.
Yeah.
This is definitely something passed along by an older brother to a younger brother.
honestly, when I thought about it, it sounded ridiculous. But seeing it, it's worse. Thank you, Tal.
But Tal is gonna, with 40 speed, is just gonna book it.
She's going faster than all of us.
I don't know what you guys hate more, the way that it looks or the fact that it seems to be working. But Tal starts trailblazing the way ahead of you guys. I think...
Could I just
yeah.
walk in front of Paige so that I'm breaking the snow with my stride and then she just follows in the wake?
Sure. And I think that with the way that the day develops, as the day goes on, the snow becomes less of a thing that you have to kick mounds aside and more of a thing of like, don't get your foot stuck in this one little pocket, like this one little dip in the land that now has like sticky snow. And eventually it becomes more of a thing of avoiding puddles. But you're able to walk in front of Paige and just
slush.
kind of guide her. Yeah. Throw some of the slush aside with your like wide feet and pave the way a little bit.
Much appreciated.
All right.
Walking
What
with-
is the rush?
with your toe on
You
the
know,
floor.
we cover 7 miles a day, we cover 8 miles a day. Not much of a difference. No point breaking our backs.
I like to put a lot of distance between me and any white cloaks we might come across, and I just, I think when people are looking for 4 adventurers, and we happen to be 4 adventurers, even though we don't fit the description, it might be good to keep a lot of distance.
I didn't think that we would be the 4 adventurers, that we could be misconstrued. But,
Well, I mean, the 3 of us might be misconstrued for other people. You less so.
I understand. I'm not hurt.
It's the blending.
It's fine.
I don't think anyone's ever gonna look at us and be like, hey, is that, like, your big brother?
Maybe. Look.
Lior's face is like this big. Dirk's face is like this big.
Yeah, as you're having this conversation, you're looking sideways to talk to Tal, and a tree branch that he easily passes under just clocks you right in the temple.
Ooh, ah. All right.
Watch where you're going.
But you bring up a good point. Speaking of children of light, we should be ready for them on any road, wherever we go. Especially if they made it all the way.
Yes, they tend to be a little bit uppity.
Yes, we should avoid them if possible.
I don't like them.
Me neither, and I find it prudent, what you said, Dirk, that we try and put as much distance as possible in as little time as possible without exhausting ourselves.
I don't like those white cloaks, but not all white cloaks are bad.
Hashtag not all white clothes. Sorry.
You're not allowed to say that they're white.
Amazing. That's right, Tal. Just like... No, I would say most, if not all, channelers are bad. I was going to say maybe not all channelers, but I just don't think we should kill them all. But yes, not all white cloaks are bad.
I believe their aim is to protect the realm, which I am all for. However, their methods strike me at times as barbaric and a little
It's a
bit...
barbaric world. Sometimes you have to get a little dirty.
I understand.
Well, hopefully we will not have to cross them again. We'll leave them in our dust.
Yes.
Pick up the pace, old man. Hello. Oh. Yeah, I'll start to forge ahead.
Yeah, and it's the nicest day any of you have seen in a while. The two of you have been, Tal and Dirk, you've been out in it for some time. You guys have more been shielded from the worst parts of it by the ability to stay inside in the place where you lived. But this is a nice day. You're feeling that feeling in the winter when it starts to break. And there's snow outside, but the sun is out, and that is enough to warm you. You guys are, walking around, and you're taking off your heavy cloaks and just more wearing your sweaters as you're moving and keeping a solid pace.
I feel like the whole group is like this, and Tal is like, "Ooh, I saw something. Is that a flower? What's this leaf?"
Definitely going to be the last in the group to make sure she doesn't fall too far behind.
And every time I come back to Dirk and I say, "It wasn't a flower," or maple leaves. We have maple leaves on the farm.
If you don't, I'd like to imagine that every time you go out, like I've scooped up a little bit of like whatever snow's on the ground.
Yeah.
And then you go somewhere else and like I've just added a little bit more. And like for the past like 5 minutes, I'm just like, and then like you get close and like as soon as you start running this way, I'm gonna whip the snowball at the back of Lior's head.
Make an attack roll with advantage because he's unaware.
That's 22.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah. And it's like as soon as I throw it, I'm just gonna be like looking somewhere else.
Make a performance check with
that's
disadvantage.
Oh, no.
Would I have seen that flying above my head? Because I'm following
Yes.
in Leo's footsteps.
I rolled a 19 and a nat 1.
Lior. Slush. Wet, right down your back, on your hair. Just a nightmare. Down your tunic.
I tightened it so that the collar could not let anything in. This is the worst.
And also, the way that it hit you, you know it wasn't anything falling on you. Right off the back of the head. And you turn around and you see, what do you think a Nat 1 looks like?
Yeah,
Zachary?
like Tal's like right next to me is coming. I'm like,
Tal's gonna be like this, like big white eyes.
Yes, Tal. It was a butterfly. Lior.
Dirk?
Lior.
Did you see who... did Tal throw
What
the
happened?
snowball?
Tal. He absolutely did.
You guys are so.
Lior, roll an insight check.
Tal's like,
I'm upset, and it should not be held against me. I rolled an 11.
You rolled an 11. I think with how blatant that was on a Nat 1, you see Dirk go, he, and the moment that he says she, the other three go, they just stiffen up real fast and then try and act cool and just look at you and just keep talking real fast.
Definitely it was Tal.
What is it now?
It was Dirk. I saw him.
doesn't know what she's talking about. It was fully me. Completely dry hands.
What is happening? Everyone, stop talking.
Keep up, old man. And I'm just gonna walk away.
Humans are so weird. This is...
I look at
That
Leon and say,
devolved.
all out of whack.
What is happening?
I'm gonna be so mad when Lior records his first TikTok dance. He's so mad. As the day goes on, it's fairly uneventful. You guys are walking. Do you guys want to be walking on the North Road? You're on the Johanna Road, essentially. Do you guys want to be walking on it, walking around it?
I think we're trying to lay low a little bit, aren't we?
Nothing's more suspicious than someone skulking through the trees. We should act like we have purpose.
I think the fastest way is to stay on the road.
Yes, perhaps we... Unless they have horses, I mean, we'll make good time.
Again, I'm very happy you're with us. I'm so excited. I think your
feel like
collective
there's a
nouns
but.
are cool. If we were all kind of human-y, I think walking with purpose down the main road would be fine. But
Should
Lior,
we put him in chains?
no.
Excuse
No.
me?
We could pretend you're our prisoner.
This is not to make that statement
No,
any better.
because I don't think anyone who's talking to the White Cloaks is gonna care whether or not he's in chains. I think they're just gonna be looking for 3 humans and Lior.
There's not this much discussion when we travel alone. There's not even this much discussion when we travel together. This is why we don't travel in groups.
I mean, we can always try to walk with purpose down the main road, but if someone says, "Hey, who's this?"
How about we stay on the main road in the spirit of trying to get there as quickly as possible, but should we notice that something is catching up, we make ourselves scarce. Is there trees and foliage on the...
Yeah, there's a fair amount. It's not like a heavy wood, a heavy forest that you're walking through, but there are sections that are simply unavoidable, that are really plains. But then there's parts where you walk through a little sparse thicket that you can sort of walk around the side. But along the main road, there are significant portions of it that are fairly open.
I mean,
Going
It
off
comes
road,
down
I don't think
to-
would help. Though.
I think it depends if we want to be fast or if we want to be...
I want to be fast. Let's put
If
some
there's
pistols.
not enough stuff to hide behind, then it doesn't really make sense to come off the main road, because if they're looking for 3 humans in an ogier over here versus 3 humans in an ogier in the middle of that plain over there, it's going to be pretty obvious that we're 3 humans in an ogier.
We did nothing wrong. Really.
We killed someone.
We... that's a very generous use of the word we.
Have you turned her in?
No, of course not.
Well, then, we have killed someone.
You are her mentor.
Yes, and I have killed someone as well.
Plausible deniability.
If anybody comes for us, I'll just tell them that I.
No.
No.
That is
Tal,
not-
you did what you thought was best in the moment, and it's not easy to see that. It's easy to judge it from afar. Now we are just trying to find the best way to navigate this. I simply think that at the moment we have a head start and we should make the most of it. I think speed is of the essence. Perhaps we get to Johanna. The White Cloaks don't want to ruffle too many feathers.
Do we know how welcome or unwelcome or the presence or lack thereof of white cloaks in Johanna?
I think generally speaking, you guys all know that White Cloaks have their like true open reign in Amador to the south. The more that there is proximity to the more that a nation is like contiguous with it, the more it's kind of like tolerated that they go around. Kind of can't do much about it. And if they aren't really here causing any real trouble, there's not much recourse you have. The further you get away from there, the more that they are maybe, I don't know if sanctioned is the right word, but like they're allowed to be active there with some conditions. So it's not necessarily like free reign, open season like it would be in the south in Amador, but there is a conditional, okay, but we have an eye on you, sort of a thing.
So in Johanna, they would be allowed within limits to seize people that they'd like to seize.
Look, the capital isn't going to let the White Cloaks just lay down their own law. I think there's some protection to be had. It's a bit messy. If we don't want word to get out that there has been a death. Yeah, but look, we have reasons to be in the capital, and if we make it there before the White Cloaks, Johanna is a big city.
Watch out, Leor. It's the second time I agree with you.
Are you going to throw another snowball?
No, the first one was plenty fun enough.
I will smile at Leor and tap him on the
Thigh.
Not the shoulder. I'll tap him on the thigh and say, "This is why we don't travel in groups." I'm imitating someone.
I understand. It is not particularly humorous at this time.
On your first day of travel, you guys want to, at some point when you get to a thicket, look for some food for the journey. I'd like you to both make survival checks.
We'll stop at like midday.
Yeah,
High noon.
When they leave, I will speak to Leor.
absolutely.
Survival 7.
7.
22.
Oh, thank the Lord.
22. Amazing. So
Natural 19.
Thank the light.
very much in a reprisal of what we saw in our session 0 when we sort of figured these characters out. The very road weary and scarred. I've been through some stuff. Dirk, I know how to set a snare. You set another snare, and last time you did this, it looked like it was going to be an effective snare until it very slowly did not. The spring action was not quite right. How do you think it goes wrong this time?
I think this time I actually set it up real nice.
Sure.
It's ready, admiring my work, and I turn and step in it, and ruin it, and I just get so frustrated. I've had a long freaking day with this group, so I just look at Tal and go, just maybe you can take care of this one.
Well, I already got these two.
Of course you did.
So and then I think what happens is as the snare locks in on you and you go, It's one of those, you're in nature, and there's nature sounds, and then you just go, and it echoes a little bit. And Tal, you look over at this sound and also see from a bush you were standing right next to it and couldn't find anything, like 5 ducks.
I'm sending slings.
Sling. 22, you got 3 of them.
2 squirrels and 3 ducks.
Glad I can help. All right.
Who's hungry?
You wanted to talk to Lior while they were off.
Yeah, as they bound off, I'm going to turn to Lior and say,
You have 5 minutes.
yeah, that's perfect.
That's how long it took me.
Just imagining Dirk bounding. That's pleasant image.
Strong visual. Lior, what do you think of these 2? They're turning out to be quite some characters.
I mean, I think they are good, which is the most important part. For the rest, Tal is young, and you're bound to make mistakes when you're young. And Dirk, well, where to start?
I'm not sure which one I trust less. They seem to have their intentions in the right places, but there seems to be a lot of mystery behind each of their eyes. Tal has his own mystery, and Dirk, well, he's quite unreadable.
Yes, he's peculiar, isn't he?
Yeah. Why do you think they are going to the capital?
I'm not quite sure. I don't think we really got around to that round of questioning. When we did, he was a little rude. Perhaps a question for the road.
That sounds good. Was that Dirk we just heard?
I was about to do that.
That can't be good. Let's I'm gonna go have a look. See.
And you
You'll
see,
probably need one of your remedies.
and you see, walking back into camp triumphantly, Tal holding a whole bunch of stuff, and Dirk, I think, breaking your snare over your knee and throwing it into the woods.
Very upset.
I've got variety.
Oh, look at that.
Do you
Quite-
want gamey or wingy?
Whatever you fancy. Well, did not realize we were being accompanied by 2 master huntsmen.
I
Look at
will give 1 duck to you. I'll give 1 duck to you. I'll give the 2 squirrels to you. And then I'm just going to like plop down and start plucking my duck.
Are we? Oh, okay. Should we stop for lunch?
Just holding my duck. It's just...
No, you have to, with the feathers. So you have to pull them in the direction that they're growing, not the opposite direction, because otherwise the pin feathers are going to move the other way.
Don't worry
And then
about
it's not going to catch on fire when you try to burn them off.
She already broke the neck. It's fine.
It's not alive. We're going to eat it.
Help me, Paige.
Watch. And I'm going to show Lior how to pluck the duck's feathers.
To be so dainty. It's so difficult.
Like one at a time.
Grab a whole fist. You hold it by the neck. You grab a whole fist of feathers, and you got the strength of 3 men. You just think.
Taking a swing off. It's
Just imagine that the one that Lior had wasn't fully dead, and he pulled it and was like,
Explosion of
It's
feather.
a duck.
I don't know what this sounds like.
It's a turducken.
Oh God, this is yikes.
Sorry. I'm sorry. We're sorry. Okay?
Hey, PETA, get in the comments. Yeah, is there
I'm happy we caught them, but maybe we should wait. Put more distance between us. We'll rest at night, and we can actually rest a little early to skin these.
Oh, I thought
Or
we were stopping for
finishing.
lunch.
I would, but an army moves faster on horses. Let's make sure we put enough distance.
Okay.
Do we think that there's an army? There was only 2 white cloaks back there.
Where there's 1 white cloaks, there are usually more.
Well, didn't they say that they were calling Captain Carvalli?
Canville.
Sure.
I didn't realize he was so close.
They were mobilized outside of the town.
Wasn't
They
that
were.
what?
Do we have a count? Do we know how many there are? Where did you get this news?
I was taking watch. I saw it.
I imagine, but maybe I'm wrong. Would you have told Tal about that when we switched watches? No. All right. I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't see anything. Ooh, disclose.
That's 50 cents for the sweater.
Pennies.
There was a gathering outside of the town that we left. I assumed they would stay, but I saw them packing up this morning. Roughly, there were a large number. More than we want to get involved with.
With horses?
I don't know, but I can assume so. They were on the other side of the river, so either way it would take them a while to cross. Let's use the time we have to put some more distance.
Yes, we have no time to spare then.
I've tied up the animals and hung them on my pack.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, Peter.
Throughout the afternoon, do you guys get up to anything, or do you just kind of walk more purposeful? You've had like a brief, I think, joyful moment of like playfulness in this like bonus little spring or fall that you're having today. But it's a bit of a sobering reminder when you think, oh shoot, we can't stop for lunch now. We have people who might be maybe not on our tail, but on a parallel tail here.
Yeah, Paige has got her thumbs in the straps, is just clunking down and walking ahead. She's going to take a moment to speak to Lior and say, Lior, when you checked your map, were there any stops, any villages before the capital?
Let me look, and I'll look. Are there any either? We're taking the main road north. Are there any cities or towns before then? And also, are there any alternate routes? Should we feel like they're hot on our tails and we want to get a bit off road? Anything that on this old map might suggest a path less taken?
It doesn't necessarily show on the map that you have. It's a pretty wide scale map of the territory, sort of from like Andor west. But so there aren't really like detailed maps, but you can see that there is one town that is sort of like a little bit of ways off. On your map, there's like infrequent little box drawings that to mean like farms. And you've seen some of them even this morning as you've been walking off a little bit ways away from the road. There is one town listed on there that's like kind of right off the road. That's right off the road, called Barrowdwin. So you've got one town on the way there, and it looks like from there might be roads that split off to the east and west. In terms of like, is there effectively, you're on the highway, is there a service road?
Yeah.
Not so much.
Chapstack Woad, you're fine.
Chapstack Woad.
You're not ready. You're not ready for Chapstack.
Well, if we can make it to Barrowdwin?
Barrowdwin, yeah.
We can make it to Barrowdwin, then we have a couple of options in terms of if we want to go, if we need to take a left or right, let's say. But if we're going to the capital, it's a pretty obvious straight shot. So,
All right.
I don't think we can get too creative.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what our options are when we get to Barrowdwin, and we'll take it from there. I will then trudge ahead for a bit and pull up my cloak, and I will whisper a couple words and subtly channel a detect thoughts spell.
Okay. You go far enough that you think you won't be sort of seen, and you guys are having more of a somber afternoon, so I don't think it necessarily goes noticed. You're not being super suspicious in this moment, and you manifest a trick that you learned a long time before you learned anything else. This little knack that you've always had, and You've been told that it's something to do with channeling. Maybe the channeling has assisted it, but it's a certain talent that you've always had. As you open up your mind space to your surroundings, and
I thought you said my MySpace.
yeah,
I closed that years ago.
and you look for your top 8.
Tom's there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Tom is
Oh,
everybody's
take me
friend.
back.
Yeah. You get. I'm gonna stop.
If you didn't keep Tom in your top 8, you weren't cool.
You weren't a real one.
You weren't a real one.
But you open up your mind, and this swimming familiar sound fills your ears and your ears alone. Maybe the first thing you notice that is still alien to you is whereas things are kind of like a high sound, there's one low in that sort of maelstrom, a little bit quieter right now, a little bit less sources of this wind, but that low voice that you have come to associate with Lior, as it's a bit of a stranger mind to perceive, but you do this. And what is your aim?
I will try and focus on the voices that I hear, the one that reminds me of Dirk, and I will picture Dirk. And as I do this, I will turn around and say, Dirk, quick question for you. Why are you two heading to the capital?
Bringing her. She's joining the army.
Huh? All right. An escort.
As such, I offered to protect her.
Interesting.
Not that I need protecting, just company.
Just company. He was originally accosted by the frickin' 4 dudes that we just came across.
I understand. All right. Did you meet after the first encounter or before?
Slightly after.
Slightly after. All right. And that's very kind of you, very gallant. Do you have any reason to be going to the capital as well, or just wandering that direction?
Was thinking of maybe joining the army, seeing what the hubbub was with this dragon versus false dragon. See if I could find any dark friends among them. See, I was on a path of being a sort of, I wouldn't call it a bounty hunter per se, but I found some money taking out some weeds. And wherever there's war, there's weeds to be pulled.
Oh, are you a type of, don't know to use the words vigilante, but a justice server of your own accord? Is that how you earn your...
I like to keep people safe. I wouldn't say justice. I'm hired. People need me to do things, and I help them. Like with the persimmons. I don't like it when people are taken advantage of, so I help them.
Okay. During the conversation, Paige would like to listen in to when Dirk describes protect, when he mentions the army, and when he mentions the troublemakers, the bad people. Paige is hoping to get an image, an idea of what Dirk has done in the past, to better understand who she is traveling with. Is it a murderer? Is it a hired mercenary? What type of person is this?
And feel free to engage with that as like fleeting surface value.
Okay.
I think also distracting you during this is, even though it's not what you're focusing on, I think you're hearing a chipper wind that is sort of communicating, like, everyone's saying she now. Everyone's saying she.
I was just gonna say.
It's so hard because I look at Michelle.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's a you problem or I don't know if it's a character problem, but we need to get tighter people.
I think the
I don't know what to react in. I don't know what's character and what's not.
It's never character.
I think unfortunately with that nat one that one time, some of it is character. I think you do hear a couple thoughts of like, Does everyone know? Is everyone? But
He.
yes, just correcting it every time it's said.
In my head,
Just every time there's a voice going he. But yeah, so feel free to hit us with like the surface of that.
So the surface level you'd get is, as I describe, protection and safety. That I definitely mean that, but potentially a double meaning, in the sense that maybe I think Tal is protecting me as much as I'm protecting him. That I'm gaining something from our alliance. But I still definitely have that sense of protection and safety. You would glean that, like, my drive is to go north. Definitely. You get the sense that, like, in brief flashes that, like, there have been times where, like, I've had to use violence against people, and it's murky whether or not I've killed them. But you get the sense that, like, I probably have the capability to do so. Yeah, you can ask other questions because I forgot to ask some of them.
No, it's more like, are there any? What I'm trying to gauge are like, who are your previous employers? Perhaps are there any pictures or voices of White Cloak orders being shouted, or military orders being shouted, or is this a mission in itself to go north?
I don't think that's a surface.
That's not a surface.
I don't think that's.
But
a
even
surface.
from what you're asking, like, no, it would be like nameless people that I don't like in like my travels that I'm talking about. It's really just like people that I have come across.
Perfect. So I wouldn't have a more in-depth idea. That's
I don't think it necessarily, the way it works for you, I don't think it paints you a picture so much as
it's like the dialogue.
It's more of an internal dialogue. If you want to get a real strong picture,
That's what I have
that
to
would
delve.
be, you'd have to delve deeper. But you're just sort of getting flashes.
Come in my mind.
Swear jar.
You should put it swear. I wasn't.
I will gladly put it in a swear jar for that. That's on me.
We've all that.
You just imagine someone walking in and be like, then you just like leaves. This is my mark. Sorry, I will put in the swear jar. Yeah, I owe like $5 at this point. Sorry.
I will leave it there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to it's sticky in there. I'm not going to delve anymore.
Swear jar.
No, it's there's a lot of strange memories that I find quite personal. I don't.
You
need to
can't play off the swear jar joke and not pay into the swear jar.
Yeah, that's correct. What, do you hate charity?
I flaming don't.
I'm sure there's like some sex health organization that we're gonna give all of this charity money to.
Yeah. The Foundation for Stop Making 13-Year-Old Jokes. Endless funding.
At that point, I'll say, okay, well, that's very nice of you to be accompanying our friend Tal to the capital.
Where are you heading north?
I'm just looking for work. I'm I think change of scenery, new people, new faces.
Insight check.
Yeah, sure. You can make an insight check. Absolutely.
This person who pulled the she pronoun out of their ass. Let's go, buddy. Ha 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 ha. You've got like a gajillion plus at deception, don't you?
I don't deceive.
But that's going to be a 31.
16.
14.
16.
Okay. Is there a sense of if that's truthful? Or if that is...
It's definitely truthful. It might not be everything.
Sure. Yeah. You know, it doesn't seem like Paige is telling you everything.
New faces?
New faces. New people.
Do you often look for new work? You stay at a place long?
I have looked for different jobs in the past, and I find every new city or village or work opportunity a place to learn more about the people around me. And I've heard Johanna is a very interesting place where many worlds collide, especially at this time.
You decided that the Ogier would be the person to travel with.
I actually met our dear friend Leo, I believe it wasn't too long ago. We've been friends for... What is it, Leo, now? And I call up to Leo. It's like, how long have we known each other now, Leo? A couple weeks, months?
Couple of weeks now.
Yeah, it's... No, Leo and I, we were both visitors to this town in which we stayed and got to know, and so we had some commonalities in that way, although I did arrive before him, so it was easier for me to blend in than Leo. Just because I got there a couple of weeks earlier, nothing more than that. My stories did not capture the same audience as his. But
what stories did your audience capture your stories?
Did you cut those words out on me?
However you want to edit that to make that fit.
Leo get the celery salt, he's having a stroke. What was the question?
What audience did your stories
Which of your stories captured audiences?
I'm losing the plot.
Is the answer a person or a story?
Which of your stories were popular with the people?
I honestly did not tell many stories other than very specific instructions on how to cook an omelet, and I can tell you that one had many different endings that I did not anticipate.
Usually due to Dale, unfortunately.
He liked to put his own twist on things.
Never good. Question for you. Do you really plan on mingling with this false dragon that is...
Mingle.
In this, you mentioned that you wanted to pull up weeds. I'm not sure that he is, well, a weed.
We have to protect Gildane.
And I'm not sure I'm willing to fight this dragon. If he can't channel, we don't stand a chance.
I was quite taken aback that you would be willing to get involved.
I will get involved for people that I think need protection.
I understand.
I was almost too quick to cut you down, and I realize now you are not, probably not, most likely not a dark friend.
I'm glad we've arrived at that conclusion, yes.
I am too.
I'm going to sleep soundly tonight.
You should. I debated cutting your throat. I didn't. You're still here. We're trust building.
I just want to say, if he's telling you, you're good.
Thanks, Tal.
We'll boil him at dawn, Leo, don't worry.
The point is,
Straight to the
I
good butt.
think we all know what we need to do. We're all heading north. There's no reason to ask too many personal questions. Let's just keep to ourselves and go forward.
Tal looks down at asking personal questions. Looks back up and says, "What sort of chores did you have to do at your house?" Because, I had a very specific set of, you wake up with the sun, you have to milk the cows, you take the sheep out. What were your chores?
Well, there's tending to the gardens and,
I can see that, yeah.
There's a strong emphasis placed upon learning. The Ogier want their young to truly thirst for knowledge, and so we are often led to learn. But in terms of chores, it's usually around the steadying. Anything that can be done by young Ogier, they like to put us to work just to build character.
Learning. That's nice. When you're a youngster like me,
Yes.
with all the brothers and sisters, people get bored with teaching at that point.
That's a shame. There's a lot to learn.
I learned all my letters. And I was the best of the sheep.
Well, if you've learned all your letters, then you can learn anything you want to learn. Because most things are written down. And I'll tap one of my big books.
Yes. What do you think you spend the next 3 hours before you guys get to night camp teaching Tal about?
Oh.
You very quickly realize that I'm a little shaky on my letters.
Yeah. This one would probably be on the different architectural. I'm feeling a little bit nervous about my work coming up in Johanna, and so Lior would be telling you all about the architectural components in stonemasonry to teach you, but also to reassure himself that he's going to know what he's going to do, because this is his first solo mission. So he's pep talking himself secretly. Yes.
Does Tal get that?
Roll me an intelligence check.
How would Leo say that? I'm curious.
He just starts reciting.
We quite
Three.
we quite simply don't have time. I don't think you understand. I think, Lior, you probably start with the sentence, "Well, you know, there was a time when we sang the buildings out of wood," and from there on, just there's a barrage. But this is a fascinating individual that you've met, so I think you're pretty captivated, as far as you can be captivated for some time.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably the standard ADHD child where I'm fully listening, engaged in eye contact, and then suddenly my eyes dart off, and you look over there and you're like, oh, there's an eagle, and then I come back, and if Tal's not necessarily understanding your words, Tal's gonna appreciate your cadence. Because you've got a voice like nobody she's ever met. He's ever met.
Clutch save. Clutch save.
No one noticed.
I think you're the last character who doesn't know.
I don't know if
I think
Lior is ever gonna know.
I don't know. You can decide whether Lior figured that out from before, but
Is gender still vague?
Well, Paige, you're going to see. In Johanna, there's a library.
I'm not Paige.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Tal, you're going to see. In Johanna, there's this glorious library. I put to you, yes. And
You dirked.
and there's going this should not be a verb. And you're going to see there's a world of information to learn. And if we're lucky, if I do my job well, we'll get to keep some books. Yes, you'll get to pick one.
Will it have a lot of pictures?
Ooh, I don't think so.
at about this time, Dirk, you find a good place to make camp for the evening. You've come upon a stand of trees that are sort of off the road and thicker than most of what you've come across today, and it is starting to get chilly now.
I haven't seen anything behind us as we've been traveling.
Make a perception check.
Hey, not too bad. 15.
Nope, you haven't seen anything behind you as you've been making this journey.
I'll pull off to the side a little bit, and I'll go, you continue talking over there. I'm going to set up camp over here. Paige, help.
It's difficult to talk when someone orders you to talk, because then you feel awkward talking about it. Even though I like to talk, it becomes difficult, stagnant almost. And so...
The camera pans over that as it becomes a low rumble in the distance as Paige, you join Dirk to help make
Oh, no,
camp.
it's okay. I have things I have to do to set up camp. And so Tal will go do what Tal does, because Tal's like, these are my jobs, and I'm going to do my jobs, and nobody else is doing my jobs because they're my jobs.
I think you're left alone going,
Jobs.
my job, I'm nervous about my job. And then you're just nervous reading.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will come in and look at you inquisitively. Yes.
We're just going to set up camp. Do you know how to do that?
I can start a fire and immediately put on the ducks to roast. I can start the tea as well. I think it's been a long day, and we
You
should.
learned these in your travels?
I think. Where did I learn that? I believe my parents taught me this.
Can I make an insight check?
Yes, you can make an insight.
Yeah, you can. You can certainly.
This whole conversation is going to be Dirk setting up inside checks.
17.
You can tell that she's trying to figure out where she learnt it, and probably settled for something you would have that is believable. It might not be where she learnt it. Probably not.
Your parents were travelers too, and I say, we'll take out some like firewood and I'll put it down in front of you so like you can fix it up. And I'll start putting up some like bag rolls and bed rolls.
No. My parents were quite the opposite. They stayed. They stay in one place.
So how did they teach you the way of the land?
It was part of knowing the land. I would get up every morning and I would fetch the eggs, and I would help them with their chores, and it doesn't sound like I had as many chores as Tal, but I would do what they needed me to do.
You worked on a farm as well.
Yes.
Can I insight
Something.
check that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just insight. Just gonna throw that there. Wow, that's a 20.
A natural?
No, 18 plus 2.
Okay.
That's a natural not 20. You can tell that this is probably fabricated.
Yeah. Tal, did you know that Paige here also worked on a farm? Before you go off, Paige, we should see what type of farm it is. Sorry, Tal.
I was just gonna say, I'm Tal!
I pulled a Leo.
Full circle. Full circle.
And when I say I'm Tal, I get that high pitch.
Before you explain, Tal, what we do on the farm, we should let Paige tell us on her farm how things might have been different, Paige.
Oh, that's so cool.
What did you do on the farm? What was it like?
Was it a farm in Gildane or somewhere else?
No, it wasn't in Gildane. It was more to the west of here. Where was your farm?
Well, no, I want to know
Sa-
what you did on the farm, Paige.
No, just to be able to draw similarities between our
We
stories.
don't need to do that.
It would be interesting. I thought that was...
We could do it after.
Wait, did you live on a farm as well?
No, I would know nothing about a farm, and I'm okay to admit that.
So you lived on a farm
Yeah, and you did.
and not Dirk. Interesting, yes.
Yes.
I took out the sheep.
The sheep. Did you have a large flock or was it a small flock? Because I heard large flocks of sheep are quite a bit of work.
Would you know? Did you have any flock of sheep?
Well, I took them out.
Tal, damn it!
Would I be able to insight check to see what's going on?
I mean, do you even need to insight check?
No, you don't need to insight check that. What are you talking about?
The
Natural
Tal
one.
Davis
He's being totally cool and normal. What? No.
He's just honestly curious.
You're being grilled. You're being questioned hard.
No, I'm just curious because I've never owned any sheep, but I've heard it's quite a bit of work.
Oh, that makes sense then. Because the only time you take the sheep out is if you have a big flock. If you have a small flock, then you just leave them out in an open pasture. But if you have a big flock, then you have to take them properly out because then you have to take them to all the different grazing places or else they're just going to graze the grass empty and then there's not going to be anything left to eat.
Wow, that's fast. Do you like your grilled ducks? Do you like them very well cooked or a little bit on the juicier side?
We didn't eat very much grilled duck on a farm. Where was your farm that you ate grilled duck?
I've never eaten grilled duck on any farm. This is the first time I prepared duck.
Oh, then maybe I'll do that.
I thought you just told me you learned how to prepare everything and set up camp from your parents.
No, I never prepared camp. It was just learning how to set up a fire.
Paige, damn it, what the hell did you do in your travels?
In my travels.
Where did you learn to travel? It wasn't from your parents, it wasn't on a farm.
I never, to be honest, I never really learned to travel. It's something that I had to acquire while doing the deed, traveling. I know how to make a wicked cup of tea, though, and you look a little bit jaundiced. Perhaps some pine bark tea. Yes, that is my favorite. That will liven your spirits and calm you down, perhaps. That
It
would
probably, I need to be calmed down. I'll take a walk. And I'm just gonna take a walk.
But your tea is gonna... I'll keep it here. I'll keep it warm for you, and I put a little lid on the teacup.
Leo is just flipping pages in his book, but he's not looking down at his book. It's just happening. Oh,
A
dear.
cup for you, Leo.
Not one. Oh, I wonder what that was about.
Oh, just differences about our work experiences. I honestly have never, heard of... Not heard, but I've always wondered what it's like to just nuzzle my face into a freshly non-groomed sheep. I don't even know the words for that. What does that mean?
Sheared.
Sheared.
When you shear the sheep, you cut the sheep's wool.
When you shear the... Here's your tea. I'm not rattled at all. I'm going to go, maybe have a look at those ducks. And I go look at the
If
ducks.
you don't know how to cook ducks, then maybe I should look at the ducks.
No, I've cooked a variety of other poultry. Never wild ducks, though. These look like...
Duck is different from chicken.
Then maybe you should grill the ducks.
You're gonna dry it out.
Thank you for taking over for that.
cooking.
Leo, do you have any books, perhaps? It would be lovely just to, pour over something and lose myself into a piece of fine literature.
Yeah, that is what I do when you all set up camp. I just read a book and no one's noticed so far.
You've done well.
I'm cooking a duck. I noticed.
Well, I appreciate you didn't tell anything to Dirk. Okay. Here you go.
Dirk, you're taking a walk.
Yeah, I'm taking. I'll like circle around the camp. Like I'll take like a perimeter. I'll cool my head, see if I can see the road. Take a gander if anybody's following us. See if we left our tracks or anything.
Great. Survival and perception. Survival for your tracks, perception for others.
Survival is 15.
Okay.
And then perception 15.
Oh wow, consistency.
I like it.
So
What Dirk is known for, yeah.
so survival, I mean, you cover the tracks. I mean, the road there hasn't been much snow, ground's still pretty hard and unyielding, so there's a couple spots where you could see that Lior kind of like sank in, but you're able to cover those and sort of hide where it is that you've gone off into the thicket. And for perception, I think you hear like a hoof print and get a little bit tense, and then you just see two deer bound over and across the road.
Scared me. Okay, snap out of it, Dirk. It's just a little girl. Just a little girl avoiding your questions. Okay, you got this. Okay.
He slaps himself a couple times.
All right, and I'll just make my way back to the group.
Sure. Roll me a performance check.
23.
Okay. You think that went pretty well.
Fantastic.
Great.
Yeah. Come back to the group. Everybody's kind of eating. I'll sit down, just like grab a squirrel and just start eating quietly as I look around.
Gonna like, when I give him his plate, I'm gonna like put a little bit of my duck on it.
Thanks. It's great weather happening. Snow's melting.
Would you like us to take a watch tonight? I noticed that you didn't wake us up yesterday. It's no point burning yourselves out.
We have a habit. We've been traveling together for a while.
I wouldn't want us any more tired than we need to be. And we have a routine. We didn't get to sleep in a nice house. We're used to it. You get used to sleeping outside in the cold for a couple of days and you can take watch.
Certainly. I think it's only fair.
Of course.
The night passes, and nothing particularly noteworthy happens on any of your watches. The next day begins. It's a little bit chillier, but still no snow falling. Kind of a cold November day. The dampness that was sort of sitting in your bones is feeling a little bit alleviated. But that same like sunny outlook on the day that sort of set you guys off on a good mood, sort of to match just the whole vibe of the camp, is not there today. And you guys set off for another day of travel.
Would I have been able to do one thing? I was going to do it on my watch, but
Okay.
The one thing I would want to do is I would cast another. I would channel the same energy that I did last time and listen for Dirk's voice. And this time I'm going to push and I'm going to probe while he sleeps. I want to find anything about white cloaks in his mind that I can. Any letters that he has read with a captain's name, any sigils, any clothing, anything that would bring that out.
What kind of save is that?
I believe it's a wisdom.
So make a wisdom save with disadvantage because you are asleep. But also know that the information you're going to get
Of course,
is
yes.
also at a disadvantage.
Yes.
19 and 18, so I rolled a 20 wisdom save.
Nope.
That meets it. Oh, no, you beat it.
I was like, 20.
At level 4.
I know that's not true. I'm aware.
But Dick doesn't.
You wait and you see, sort of by this still smoldering campfire, you see Dirk, I think, tossing and turning a little bit in his sleep, and you wait for a moment where you see the frown that is always on the face deepen. And you try and push there, and the initial things that you're getting are nonsense. It's a dream. Those don't always have any sort of intelligibility. And when you push, it is like you are one beaver trying to just hold their dam against a flood. And the flood completely overrides you. The steel trap in the mind that just knocks you over.
I wince and I don't go back. I continue my watch with a frown.
Mm-hmm.
As our day begins, can I look to the sky a little bit, look to the horizon, and just see if from where we came there's any signs of a smoke in the sky? Anything that would signal someone behind us, also perhaps breaking the fast?
Great ask. Perception. Yeah.
Not bad. 18.
18, that's pretty good. I think with an 18 you actually do see way off in the background. You do see a little bit of, you think that it's just a part of the cloud formation, this wispy cloud formation, then you realize the sky does not have wispy clouds. These are like a thick blanket of clouds covering the sky. And so you do see it fairly far away. You would estimate that it's perhaps more than, you're on pretty flat land. There's not really a question of elevation getting in the way, and it's just a thin trickle, but there's something back there.
We're making good time. I'll point it out to Dirk and just say, I think we've put some distance between us and them.
Do you think it's far enough?
The more distance, the better. But soon we'll be at
Burundi.
Yeah, Barrowdwin, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then we could take it easier for the day and rest there for the night. They shouldn't be able to keep up with us or catch up. They don't seem to be on horses.
Or if there are some of them that aren't, and they're not splitting their forces.
Would it be prudent to restock in Barradin, but then continue just a little bit out, a ways out? That way, if they do catch up to with us, if they have horses or whatnot, they would probably spend the night at the town. We would be just beyond them.
Would it be smart to restock and bury No, I'm just...
This is why we don't travel in groups.
We shouldn't dilly-dally.
Why would we restock?
Well, perhaps... I mean, you are doing excellent at hunting. But perhaps we just get information and see what awaits us. Perhaps they have news of what is going on to the north.
It was more for tea, if anything. I see we have an abundance of catch.
Perhaps cocoa?
That is why we will stop.
We have our priorities set.
Real square.
Running from the White Cloaks,
Yeah.
but stopping for hot cocoa.
That's correct.
Excellent.
You guys spend a day of travel. You know that at the end of like roughly the third day or so of travel is when you're going to come upon Barrowdwin. So this is kind of an empty day.
So at least at some point throughout this day, I'd
Yeah,
like to
totally.
pull back to Lior.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if you're in front, I would just go, how much do you know of Paige? She said she met you recently.
Yes, well, she's very, very smart, asks lots of questions, and, well, she seems... She seems to care.
About?
Well, about me. She stuck her neck out for me. She didn't have to. I mean, the villagers were basically with pitchforks. Barbaric.
Yeah, but I mean, for all intents purposes, do you know much about her before you met her? Her travels, where she grew up, what she did?
I'll be honest, she was usually the one asking questions. She's much faster than I am, and so I appreciated the questions, but now that she's nice though.
Okay. So you don't know anything about her?
I know that
I'm nice, okay?
No, you're not. I know that much. Look, she said she wanted to go to the capital, and that she wanted to help people, and that she wanted to treat people with her remedies. And so far, I have had no reason to believe otherwise.
What kind of remedies?
She'll make poultices and salves and
Some that work slightly better than they should.
you're sounding like a white cloak.
I just am curious.
She, as far as I know, does her very best.
Is her best better than the rest?
Don't make me sing it.
Is she simply the best?
She,
Does she call you when you need her and your heart's on fire?
Sorry.
Look. Paige is all alone, like I was. And I don't think it's because she enjoys being alone. So, I understand that she perhaps is reserved, but she's entitled to her privacy as much as you are. Privacy.
Thank you.
Certainly.
And I'll fall back in the group a little bit, and I'll wait a bit until I see anything happen in the group.
During that time, I would have liked to see Tal probably walking ahead. I would say, "Hey, Tal, I would I be able to? Could you come here, please?" Listen, Tal. You make a great duck, and you're starting to look like one too when you walk. But that's not why I called you over. I wanted to apologize. I was thinking about that day, a couple of days ago, when you did your best to protect us by killing that man. Something Leo said was that you did what you felt was right in the moment, and it is what I try and do when I'm confronted with difficult situations, and I may have been a bit harsh, considering that was a very difficult situation, I imagine, for you. And I want to let you know that even though it may have put a bit of pressure on our voyage, I appreciate you trying to do what's right in the moment.
And the youngest of 12.
12! Sorry, that's quite a number.
So by the time I came around, people didn't have a lot of time for teaching. But there was one thing that my mother made sure to teach me. Girls go to the tower, and boys don't channel. They took my aunt to the tower. So she made sure that we all knew. Girls go to the tower, and boys don't channel. I didn't know what else to do.
Given the same information, I probably would have done the same had I had the guts to. Have you had any experiences like that before? Is this the first person who channels that you meet?
Yeah,
Other than your aunt.
I never met my aunt.
You never met her?
They took her away when she was young.
And she never visited?
She never came back. I didn't think they were supposed to after they went to the tower.
Did she write to you?
She went to the tower. Never came back. Mama wasn't surprised.
I'm sorry to hear that. It must have been difficult to be the youngest of 12.
Not so hard as you'd think.
Did you have mainly brothers or sisters?
7 brothers.
7 brothers,
4 sisters.
4 sisters. And you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, Toby takes the farm.
Toby takes the farm.
All of my sisters married farmers.
Okay.
And all of my other brothers went to the army. That's what you do in South Gildane.
And so now your parents it's just the 2 of them and your older brother, Toby.
Taking care of the farm, yeah.
Taking care of the farm, yes.
Some of my other brothers will come back and visit, but
Did you have any other aunts or uncles?
just Aunt Charlotte.
Just Aunt Charlotte, who went to the tower
And never came back.
and never came back. Well, I think you...
Mama said you're not supposed to come back from the tower.
Did she ask Charlotte to come back and Charlotte didn't return? Or...
From the little Mama says, they were very close.
That must be very hard for your mother as well.
She was heartbroken. But girls go to the tower and boys don't channel. That's what we've always been taught. I don't think Aunt Charlotte was the first, but I don't know.
Well, I hope she's safe and I hope she's well, even though she's far away.
Me too.
You're a strong lad.
They're gonna have a lot for me to do in the army.
Quite a handful, I can imagine. In a good way, in a positive, energetic way. They'll never see you coming.
Any brothers and sisters? Tal just starts asking her questions.
And Paige will say, 1 older brother. Very handsome.
Oh, I bet.
Yes.
Everyone thinks their brothers are handsome, though. Except for Toby. He got struck with the thumbstick or something.
Poor Toby. Keeps him out of trouble, though.
Oh, yeah. He makes a great farmer.
Fantastic.
Make a note.
Only dumb people are farmers.
Toby's stupid.
Toby's not even stupid. Toby's just the oldest.
Yeah.
And so didn't have much time for...
100% for all of this.
Yeah.
Well, because Toby is successfully running the farm.
Yep. It's a lot of work. It's a ton of work.
How much work would that be, Paige?
Very good amount. We should ask Toby.
You should ask Toby if you need him. Yeah.
Hey, farm work is enough that I didn't stick around.
Can I get everyone to make a perception check for me, please, on this day on the road?
No. I refuse.
Okay. Lior falls over because he's walking with his eyes closed.
You're lucky I forgot my metal
17.
dice.
Okay. Oh, so you could keep rolling 16s over and over again?
Yes!
Totally mess up my fight. Naturalo?
No, it's a 2
Okay.
because when you read it from your side, it's
Oh,
yeah, it's
just
fine.
do this.
Oh,
You're right. No significant figures are
Way
required.
more confusing.
you understood what I meant when I did mine.
53. No, 8.
I had to check. I was like, is that 35? You can say it out loud. Guys. You guys can
14.
please say it out
14,
loud.
Brad.
Thank you.
I got a 17.
A 17.
Was that a natural 14? Was that?
So I think you guys don't. You're kind of absorbed in this conversation. You're probably running over the list of the litany of siblings that you have, and the two of you, where you're sort of like, I don't think you're necessarily talking, but there comes a point after you spoke that you realized that you both just had a respectful conversation with each other, and you kind of keep doing that thing of like, when you say bye to someone in a parking lot, but then you just keep looking over. So you're both doing that occasionally, and then you both hear, clop, clop.
From behind us?
No, it's from in front of you. But then you also hear the sounds of creaking axles, one squeaky, like a squeaky wheel, coming from around the bend.
What are our surroundings?
Surroundings, a little bit of a stand of trees ahead of you on the path. You're just coming out of a stand of trees, I should say. And then the path looks like it's going to open up to then wind up a hill. But it's coming from ahead of you behind a stand of trees.
I'm gonna look my farmiest.
Sure. What does
And,
that mean?
I'm gonna
Name tag Toby.
take one of the pieces of straw that I've still been imagining in my hair, but it's probably not there anymore, and pop it in my mouth. Maybe like grab a piece of grass, pop it in my mouth, put on like my sun hat.
On a
make
cloudy
sure-
day.
In the snow.
I got sun hat on a cloudy day.
Make sure my pots and pans are hung like really well on the outside, so that with every step they go clang, clang, clang.
Yeah.
And I kind of like slide up to be just like one pace behind to the right of Dirk.
Sure.
I will fall back and be at the back of the group so that they have time to see other people before they see me.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll turn behind and go, Ogier, there's trees. Are you staying with us or are you hiding?
I mean, I think if I run, they always take it poorly, so I'm going to stick around.
Cover your face if you can.
As I don't know if there's other people would like to set up, but like as like right when the cart is coming around the corner, I kind of want to look at Dirk and be like, "Golly gee, I've never seen an Ogier before."
And I think
Halfway to put up my hood?
I give you the weirdest look. Like,
So they know he's not a trollop.
Make a performance check.
Not bad. 13.
And Paige would just, if she has drawstrings, she would pull the
20
drawstrings
feet tall.
to make the hood as close to her face as possible. Just,
Sure.
And put it and just talk.
Sure. And so rounding the corner, you see a man with a little bit of rotundity to him. Who is,
Word?
It is now. No. You guys have made fun of me for words before, and they have been 100% real. All I have to say is, after you guys bullied me for impinge, all my profs in university started saying the word that week. I will not be mocked. So a fairly portly looking man sitting atop a donkey and pulling a cart, who rounds the corner, sees, having just heard, "Golly gee, I've never met an Ogier before," and he turns and sees a slight woman drawing the strings of her hood, you looking at Tal going, what is that? And you were like, maybe I'll take some steps back to not be so obvious, but you haven't quite nailed how far back you need to do that. And so you also like paused halfway through while you were doing this, so your hood is kind of down and your ears are out, and your eyebrows are still drooping on the side of your face. And this person goes, well, I have a hard time believing that since you're both in the middle of nowhere on this path here.
What?
Oh,
you fully know this guy.
Why would you say
I've never
that?
met an Ogier before him.
Okay, what steading you from, partner?
He's on to us.
Right away, you catch the vibe. This is a peddler.
Yeah.
This is a peddler traveling around. There's some clinking and clanging on the wagon on the back. And you have had peddlers come through to Steddings before. You've encountered them before.
Greetings. I'm from Stedding, Shangloon.
Ooh, long way this early winter. Well, I hope the road's treating you better than it's treating me.
Well, it's tough going, but
Yeah.
we're hoping to head to the capital.
That's probably the one place you want to be. Turns out none of these people in towns really want to buy anything when there's a little bit of light civil war going on.
Tough for business, I can imagine.
Yeah. What y'all heading for the capital for?
Business.
Just looking for work.
Right. Yeah, that's a reasonable answer.
It's pretty chilly these days. It's better to stay in cities.
Tal will open his mouth, look at Dirk, and close his mouth.
How's the road been for you with all the snow?
I gotta be honest, y'all. Road's been bad.
Where are you coming from?
Oh, I'm coming from Johanna.
A lot of travelers on the road.
You know, no, not a lot of travelers on the road. You guys also haven't seen anyone in the full 2 days that you've been on one of the main through roads. Even in a time like this, a time of war, that is noteworthy. You know, This is the first person you've encountered. Gotta say, not really many people on the roads.
Well, then why don't you show us your wares, seeing as you're in need of some customers?
Yeah, falls off his donkey. You want to see my wares? And goes over and frantically opens up the sides of his caravan. It's
Can I? Yeah. Insight check.
sure,
The whole.
sure.
I'm trying to think if there's something in particular that I
Why
want to
would
focus
you
on.
insight check him? He didn't have a pitchfork. There's no need.
Because he's the first person we've seen in 2 days. And he's leaving the biggest city because he couldn't sell enough. He thinks little towns are going to be any better.
Well, I didn't say that, but you can infer what you want so far.
Ooh. Oh, 23.
I wanted it to be so bad I was gonna be like, the donkey's looking at you funny.
What's up?
Seems like a person who has not had much of an opportunity to sell things, and is maybe excited to sell things since that is what they do.
Who has been your main clientele if the regular, I guess, villagers and travelers are not out purchasing?
Well, what my usual clientele is, it's funny you should say that, is the villagers in the towns.
No one else. I'm not sure.
Well, no, because there are shops, you see, in Johanna. Plenty of shops. And, I go to Johanna and I buy plenty of this here alum. And he takes out a pot and clinks it. You would know this from being native to Gildan. Gildan is one of the prime exporters of alum in the whole continent, and that's like their main trade thing. So trying to just take some of that out of the capital and bring it to the towns, but turns out they don't really feel like buying too much right now, especially at the unfortunate prices I have to. I mean, the very fair... Please?
Could I see your wares?
Absolutely. Is there anything that you're looking for?
I'm looking for a type of griddle, something that you can put a duck inside, maybe press together so it grills it on both sides and keep all the juices intact.
That would be my forged Jorman. No, that sounds very specific. I don't know that I have a grid. I do have like a wire rack that I suppose if you heat it up, you could get some, and takes out like a wire rack that you might see in a kitchen somewhere, like at an inn.
I look at Tal. Say, what about that?
Not without a pan underneath.
Not without about. Well, you look. If you don't mind me saying, you have pans on your back.
Not the kind of pan I need for that rack. That rack's like long ways. My pans are round ways.
Okay, right. Well, do you need a long ways pan? I can. Let me see. And you see this person pulls out like a sheet of aluminum and is just like trying to like bend up the corners. He's like, listen, you got a little bit of a hammer and you could turn this into something. You could turn this into a long ways pan.
Wait. That looks not bad. What price does something like that fetch?
Oh, what price would that fetch? Well, let's see. That'd cost you 1 gold mark.
1 gold mark.
Right. Yeah, it's the finest alum in all the continent.
You've just got to have it, Paige.
How much
To
money do
steal.
I have? I don't think we ever nailed that down.
I think you probably have your parents. I think probably gave you a pouch with a couple of silver marks that they had saved up for you. Maybe 5 silver marks, let's say.
Leo, that's about a month's pay for me. Did Dal pay you when you were staying there?
Did Dal pay me, or was it just a room and board? I do
Now-
eat a lot.
Now that you think of it, you were not paid at all for the stonework that you did on the dancing goose. But room and board.
That's why he didn't want you to leave.
But you did feed me well.
Dear Lord.
Well,
Am I the
you
only
fed me
person
well.
with Marcus. I just took some from my background, but I assume on my travels I've accumulated some.
You have. I think you flipped. You flipped.
two, I
You
think,
flipped
silver-
Marine a silver mark.
Yeah.
So you have 9 the equivalent 9 gold marks worth of silver.
Yeah.
You have silver. Yeah.
Listen, unfortunately, I don't have that. However, what say you for a bit of news? Coming from Johanna, just how's the scene there? Is it how's the military doing? Is it?
Oh, the military. I was ready to talk about the dying art scene in Johanna, but no, the military.
Should have known.
It's stressful, as you might imagine, in open civil war. But the Legion of the Wall, they've got patrols not just heading up north to see what's going on with that Logan, but they got folks patrolling the whole area about 2 days around Johanna. So it's a little bit well protected, I gotta say. There's some unrest in the city, to be sure, but the city's seems, at least from an outside danger perspective, pretty safe.
Any other mercenary groups, people supporting the false dragon, or maybe those white cloaks stirring up trouble? Anything of that nature, or is it?
No, I haven't seen any white cloaks. They typically don't make their way that far.
What color are their cloaks?
White. I don't see any white cloaks. They don't typically make their way that far up to Johanna. They usually just, bug all those folks who live closer to that River Eldar. But if there's any... I make a point of, trying to avoid anybody that I hear kind of with, raucous laughter. What I've seemed to have noticed is that these folks who are heading up, who are sympathizers for the false dragon, they seem pretty confident in being number one on the road,
Of course.
So I just try and keep my head down.
As do we. Thank you for your time, sir. And I'm going to flick him 2 silver worth of gold marks.
Two silver marks.
Do they exist? Yes.
Yes, silver marks.
I will do 2 of those.
You can't flip them 2
silver
silver
worth
worth
of
of
gold.
gold marks.
You just shave off some gold. Flick him
This is for you.
You have the money. That's useless for everybody.
I will flick him 2 of them and say, Our group as well. We try and remain discreet from all groups, and if you bump into any of those white cloaks down south, do us a favor and please suggest to them that you do not see any travelers of this nature. He gets a bad rap, and that would be
They don't
most
take kindly to the young ones there.
Right. Understandable, because not everybody has a cultural awareness, so to speak.
right.
Right. Can you roll me an intelligence check first?
Sure. Yes, perfect. Yes. That is
He will sell any information for money.
3 plus 1 is a 4.
I don't think it's +1.
Unfortunately, it's a +1.
Oh, it is a +1. Yeah, he catches the silver, and he goes, "Oh, can I at least get you something?" And he gives you a fork. I feel like I need to sell somewhere. So if you're giving me this,
To be honest, I need a new fork. That would be lovely. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you. Seems you're looks at the coins and looks back at you. Goes, these some distant marks. Seems you're pretty well traveled.
They, I guess they are. I don't know if I received these from my last employer or if they were, oh, I can smell that breath. Or if, they've seen somewheres. But yes, road money, as they say.
Right. Yeah. Well, interesting.
Dirk is like, open your hand.
What's in the box?
Can I subtle channel suggestion with that last comment?
Sure.
It is a wisdom save from the peddler.
Okay.
To follow through with the suggestion.
What was the suggestion?
The suggestion was to, if he does meet any white cloaks down south, not to mention that he has seen our group.
You don't feel it take hold. And peddler goes, well, I'll be sure to, just mention that I ain't seen nobody on the roads, especially not folks such as yourself, because I know that might be a sensitive topic, but really it's nice to meet you all. You're the first faces I've seen on the road in quite some time.
Thank you for the fork. It was a pleasure meeting you. What was your name, in case we are back down in these parts?
My name's You.
You?
You, yeah.
Oh, how would you spell that?
That's just Y-U.
Why you?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Do you recommend any places over in Johannan you frequent?
Johanna, well, I mean, what are you looking for in Johanna? What kind of places are we thinking about?
Any good shops? Any place where we can find a good place to rest?
Jeez, I mean, in terms of shops, you got your pick of the litter for inns. Or really, in terms of inns, I'd say the one that's probably friendliest to travelers on a budget like yourselves. Probably best one would be the Furtive Frog, I think. They don't typically catch a lot of business because of the questionable branding, but it's a perfectly fine establishment for those trying to make some marks matter. Any shops? Well, if I catch the look of yourself, if you got to repair any of your steel, you're gonna want to head over to jeez, what's it called? You'll probably want to head over to the Sharpshear. Sharpshear's a pretty new shop over there. They'll fix you up real good.
Appreciate it.
Of course. Well, have yourselves a pleasant day.
Thank you, and same to you.
Yeah.
Would I be able to insight check him on the way out?
Sure. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for any lingering looks. Anything that he might be... He seems very chipper and very blasé. I
Right.
wonder if he's trying to suppress anything.
Yeah, give me a linger.
A linger?
Give me a linger check.
A linger check?
Yeah.
Would I also be able to assist? I don't like it that he's heading in the direction that we left, and
I'd love to invite you to make your own insight check. I don't think it's possible to assist someone in an insight check.
Sure, I'd like to make my own.
I cannot make it with your assistance. You cannot come in my... What is it? Anyway.
Don't do it.
Let's not revisit that nightmare sentence.
It's a 16.
It's a 16.
Swear jar.
It is a 15.
It's a 15. With the 15 and a 16, you guys just look back and you see the lingering looks that you get are yeah. He's very much like, well, bye. You can sort of see different salesmen have different strategies. I think that you probably has the George W. Bush strategy of he won the election because he's a guy that you could just really see yourself sitting down to have a beer with. That kind of seems like a just likable, affable person. Any lingering looks that you catch are just like you see. Look at the coins in his hand and smirk and put them back in his pocket and sort of bounce up. And you hear a very faded, if you're hanging at the back of the group to try and catch anything, you hear a faint, looks like we're going to be able to get you some oats and some arrow, bud. I know. As goes back down around.
Did you want to buy anything or look at his stuff?
What a lovely man.
Well, he's headed in the direction that we want to be. We don't want news traveling to, so perhaps we pick up the pace, shall we?
I'm telling you, if you crouch down.
As you guys frog walk through another day and to another night of camping on your road northward, is there anything that you guys want to do before you head down for the night?
At one point while we're walking, I'm just going to pop next to Tal. And, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Good. I'm a little nervous. I know that we're all hiding something and we're not all being honest, but Paige is hiding something. The peddler just said that she was well traveled, which she kind of agreed to, but she's not letting us on to anything. I don't know where she was during our fight, but I lost track of her. And I honestly don't know what she wants to do up north. I know Lior's traveling, I know you want to join the army. Paige is the wild card. And when there's someone who doesn't reveal information like that, it means they're hiding something, so I'd like to push her. And it might seem extreme, but I won't do anything to harm her. It just might get intense tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you need me to do anything?
Just keep an eye on Lior. He's a gentle giant, but he's a giant nonetheless.
I was asking Paige earlier today what she wanted to do up north. And she said that she was going north for work and new faces and new people. And she seemed truthful. She just didn't seem like she was saying everything.
Yeah, I want to know why she wants new faces. I want to know why she wants new people. Obviously, she left with us because of the White Cloaks, but she wanted new places and new people before that.
Okay.
Okay. And so I'll wait until we're, like, setting up camp for the night.
Yeah.
And as we're, like, all getting gathered around, we could even have set up at this point and we're eating a meal.
Sure.
And I'll look at Paige, like, in the middle of a squirrel and go, you know, that peddler said, I can't help but think about it, that those 2 silver marks you gave him weren't from around here.
I'm not sure where they're from. Can I check my bag and see and separate certain silver marks from the ones Dal gave me in payment?
I'm going to assume that you would have done this
Yes,
as
before.
you were walking.
That's exactly what as soon as we left the peddler, I would have
Sure.
done something,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And you would know that, you know, depending on where you are and depending on where they're minted, silver is silver. Some countries mint them with more weight, and so the exchange rates are a little bit different. But silver is silver, but different countries or different territories often do stamp them with their own image.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really track currencies. Do you know more about silver? Then you lead on, and I'll flick him one of the silvers Dal gave me.
Okay. Do I recognize if it's... I'm assuming it's just a regular silver mark
This
to
is
me.
this is gilded in
Yeah.
silver. Yeah.
No. It looks like a regular mark. And I'll flick it high so that if you want, you have to look up to catch it. And at the same time, I'll go to my belt.
I won't look to catch it.
And I'll toss a hand axe at your feet. And I go, Paige, you're well traveled, and you need a way to protect yourself. And I mean, if Tal can handle himself on the road and still needs protection, I'm sure you do. So why don't you show me what you got, Paige? I mean, you have to have protected yourself in some form or passion, and I'll take out a small dagger. We spar with Tal. I'm sure you wouldn't mind sparring.
He did the same thing to me when we met.
That sounds lovely for someone who wishes to join the army, but I wish to help in different ways. What I specialize in is finding natural remedies for problems. The pine bark tea was actually one of my favorite. That helps with multiple different types of multiple different ailments. However, I do have a salve that helps against what I believe is called infections. I could show you that. I'm no good with these, but I am good with these. And I start to take out little vials. I say, this is good when you're too hot. Put it up here. And this one, it helps stimulate circulation. And you can put it on your wrists.
These ointments. I mean, everybody has ointments.
See, but mine, I think I figured out a couple homemade remedies that work better than others.
That's really what I'm interested in.
Sure, yes, so am I. I could,
Yes.
Would you like to try one?
I would like to see it in action. You say you can help remedies, I would assume, cuts, scrapes, illnesses.
It's mostly just things, not necessarily from weapons, but mainly perhaps...
I'll slowly walk towards you as we're talking. Like
Yeah.
this, yeah. You can continue.
Yeah. You'll see I'm talking with my hands,
Yeah.
but I square up.
Yeah.
I say, well, it's mainly things, I've heard of things like trench foot, other things when people are lacking proper nutrition, the protective, natural protection seems to... Are you...
Me? No, I just need to see. And I'm just going to swing. And I'm going to intentionally miss, but I want to get, as close to, the top of her head that I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll me a dex check
Yeah.
for that, and then everybody is free to tell me how they react to that.
It's going to be a 16 plus 4, so 20.
16 plus 4, so 20? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not so much...
Oh, yeah.
You can tell me how you react to that,
Yeah.
but that was more to see if, you hit the
Yeah.
mark, close but no cigar.
Yeah.
It's not an attack on your AC or anything.
No, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, it looks like I'm doing an upward slash, but I'm going to, alter the dagger at the last second to just, skim your hair.
Yeah, what's everyone do to that?
Leo is going to put down his book and say, Dirk, what are you doing?
I'm going to put my hand on Lior's knee and say, if he wanted to hit her, he'd have hit her.
She's gonna... Sorry.
That's it.
Paige would throw herself to the ground and say, "You madman! What do you want with me?"
I want you to tell me the truth, Paige. Why are you here and why are you traveling?
You expect me to tell you my life story when I've barely known you 3 days, the first of which you and your friend kill a man in front of me. We all have our personal secrets and affairs and our objectives, but I have been as honest and forthcoming with you as anyone would have been after knowing someone for 3 days and being on the road with them.
I know. I'm asking for more.
That wasn't fair.
What wasn't fair?
You and your friend killing people and you want to keep your secrets, but you reveal other people's secrets. It's not fair.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
No, we're all getting a little hasty. let's just simmer down.
You said that you've only known us for 3 days and that you and your friend killed people. Hey, I thought we had a nice productive chat about it.
We did. When I said
So
that...
you don't get to throw that back in people's faces.
Your friend nearly stabbed me in the head, and he asks me for answers.
If he wanted to hit you, he'd have hit you.
And I can throw anything back when I am nervous for my life.
Not about me.
So tell me, Paige.
How about this? You wish the truth from Paige, and yet you are not forthcoming with your own. If you wish for a truth, you must share one.
Okay. I don't think you guys understand how this works. You joined our group. We let you in, so you answer our questions first. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to travel on your own or go back to the white cloaks that are following us. I need to make sure that I'm safe and Tal's safe. And I know, based on the fight we had, that apparently you're averse to hitting people. Fine in my books, as long as you're still not hitting me. But I didn't see Paige, and she's acting shifty, and she's asking me questions, and she's not telling me the truth.
You see what's going on here? You are trying to turn this around. You are acting shifty. We had decided to go talk to them, to negotiate with them, asking for them to give back the persimmons. Yet, blows were thrown before we ever got to negotiate with them. I was not ready for a fist fight. I never went prepared for something like that. As soon as these things started happening, I hid. I need to take my meds.
That's a signal from God. I'm going to make an insight check.
I am not a warrior like yourself. I am not a fighter like Tal. I do not do well in a fisticuffs of that nature. I was scared for my life. And so I hid. If I could have helped, I would. And believe me, I tried to find the persimmons as soon as there was a moment. Because that's what my mission that night was for. Now, you accusing me of hiding, you telling me that I'm being shifty, I think this is actually something on your side. What are you hiding, Dirk? Why are you traveling with us?
Because it looks like you need protection.
You guys hear, in the distance, but closer than maybe you spied this morning, a horn blow. And you look and you see and you look that while you've been having this conversation, the fire that you've been tending has gotten bigger than you intended. And you hear, and then you hear one from a bit closer to you but further to the left, and one further to the right. And you see that whatever you were hoping to avoid on your march northward is closing on you.
I'll put money into the swear jar, but I go, wait, I don't have to, because I say blood and ashes, and I start kicking snow on the campfire, and I go, get them out of here. And I just point to whatever direction I didn't hear horns come from, even if it's off the path. North, like, go.
Yeah, Leo will scoop up Paige and say, "Come on, Tal," and we'll start heading that way.
Paige will
Do not fall behind.
Paige will try and grab the weapon and the silver and anything else that might be a trace of who we are, a weapon and currency.
Absolutely. You scoop up as many things as you can in the camp as fast as you can.
I'd like to say I have practice with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get everything.
Yeah. How much of a whirlwind do you think it is as you're cleaning up?
You guys see like the streaks behind me a la cartoon. Like as I scoop up a pen, it streaks silver as I like unerringly fit it onto the hook on my side. I scoop up whatever coins you've left on the floor and put them in a pocket. Say they're not mixed with mine. Almost tripping over myself but not falling. I've managed to pick up all of our things and go.
I picked up a coin and an axe, and somehow you managed to fill up a peddler's wagon with.
Let's go!
Leo is as useless as picking up camp as he is as setting it down, just standing there. All right, well, let's go.
Leroy's just like absently like picking up the boulder he was sitting on.
Put it on top of the fire!
Okay. They'll never know.
You're kicking snow over the fire, and just like a shadow looms over you. You're looking at rock into the dirt. As it looks like you guys have scrambled and cleaned up camp as fast as you can. What are we doing?
Running.
Yeah, taking off.
as you guys take off into the night, just having the tense conversation that you have had with each other, these tense couple days on the road, really feeling each other out and not getting any sense of resolution of what that is, as you guys have been fighting amongst yourselves, asking, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? That is overwhelmed with the fear that you all ask yourselves for different reasons as you run away from this oncoming marching party. It's overwhelmed by the question of, what am I hiding from? As you guys run into the night, that's where we're going to leave off for today.
Oh, yes.
He's messing with my interrogations.
Oh my god, you guys are so mean to each other. Oh, so good.
Yeah, Dirk is not a nice person. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was like, what's the peddler gonna be like? And then catching the vibe of everyone, I was like, he has to be really nice. He's gonna be really nice.
I've been nothing but
really
pleasant
great,
other than that
Al.
one dude that I killed.
Yeah.
Was enough.
I also just love like hey, we talked about my murder and you said it was cool. You can't bring that up as a bad thing again. Wow. Awesome stuff, guys. That's maybe the least I've ever talked in a D&D game. That rules. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been fun. So tune in next week, next Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to see what happens as this, I don't even want to call them a group, as these incongruous pairs of travelers flee northward away from the oncoming search party of White Cloaks. In this, Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might. See you next time.